Wow. We are back. We are back, and it is a good day for me to max out the mic. Okay, there we go. All right, everyone. Welcome back to another stream. We are here, and we are ready. We are ready to do some world building. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Welcome. We need to make a meme. We need to make a meme with George Costanza saying, instead of, we live in a society, we need to have him say something like, we invent a society. I don't know. Love George Costanza memes. All right. Well, welcome back. Gal, welcome back. Niskam, everyone. And here we are. We are going to be doing some world building today. But we have some exciting housekeeping to do first, because as some of you may know, today marks the end of our fanfiction contest, our Biraiverse fanfiction contest, and we have a winner. And so what I think we should do is start off by announcing the winner, and I want to read through the winning entry on stream so that we can use it in the world building extravaganza that is to come. So I don't know, I don't have a drum to roll, but all right, the winner is the story The Merchant Company and the Oasis, written by Galactic Sand. So a gigantic hand of applause. Galactic Sand, really well done, beautiful story, and thank you to all the other entrants. Unfortunately, we had to choose one, and this is it. So a huge, if I were wearing a hat, it would be off to you right now, Galactic Sand, and to all of the entrants in the contest, which were all amazing. So with this story, we can now start to canonize some elements from it. And so we're going to read it through. I'm going to read it through. I'm not going to do the full, narration with all the voices and everything yet. That's going to be a separate video that's actually like not a live stream, like an actual, real, honest to goodness YouTube video. But I think we should read through the story today because we're about to do some world building among the Pkwak, and this story is about the Pkwak, so it seems strange if we wouldn't read it. All right, so let's scoot over, and here it is. All right, The Merchant Company and the Oasis. Written by Galactic Sand. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. To learn more or to volunteer, visit LibriVox.org. That's an inside joke. If you listen to a lot of public domain audiobooks, you'll get it. Otherwise, just never mind. Okay. So, The Merchant Company and the Oasis by Galactic Sand. Now, in the lands of Pkwak, in the 7th year of Skamnis, there lived a young merchant, a seeker of treasures, who was named Abuan. Along the coast, Abuan had lived and traveled, the son of a fisherman, selling off what he could from his discoveries to make a living, and fishing to make up the rest, staying away from home for days or weeks at a time. Abuan was returning from one of his travels up the coast when he came upon the marketplace at Nyankes in the midst of the summer season, and found Duandras, the trader, and a friend of his father, selling there. Duandras had come back from the southern reaches of the coast with many fine goods, and the two sat together in the marketplace. They talked of the seasons and the quality of metals and fabrics, many of which the two had seen time and time again. As the conversation prattled on, their talk turned to the west, and to the lands of Mo and Nranmu. These had not much in the way of the bountiful coasts and the lush green plains Abuan had seen before, but rather vast reaches of sandy desert, said to be so hot that one could cook a fish with no fire in broad daylight. But now, as their discussion turned, Duandras stopped the young merchant as he spoke. Perhaps it is not all barren. Listen here, for I have been told by those in the south of a place of splendor, an oasis out west, past even all the sands. Abuan's attention was roused at Duandras's interruption, as he continued. This place lies past the sands of Mo, and the dunes and hills of Nranmu. in a place away from all else, like a diamond among rough stones. And within there are many trees and precious gems and metals, and a place they call the Lake of Eternal Life. Abuan's curiosity piqued, and he asked of his father's friend, "Why do they say that this lake is of eternal life? Was it poured out from the heavens, or its waters from the tears of the gods?" Duandras let out a hearty chuckle at Abuan's speculation, and replied, "Perhaps, my dear boy. I know not from where the waters came, but it is said that one who bathes in the lake will live forever, and will be blessed with eternal life." Abuan was admonished by Duandras's words, and very soon sought to find this place of which had been spoken. As the week's end came, Abuan gathered together two of his companions, Lakut and Aswad, and his steed Anis. Abuan said unto them, "My friends, hear me, for I have heard of a place of great promise, a place of riches." Lakut and Aswad knew the desert lands of the Birai well, and agreed to show Abuan through Mo and Nranmu, but they knew nothing of the lands beyond, and were moved by the prospects of which Abuan spoke. The three prepared for a long journey, and Anis bore the load, and their journey through the desert was 28 days. The three had gone past the reaches of all that was known to their people's explorers and map-makers. But as they began to go further past the hills, the sand of the desert began to turn to quaint grasses and palm trees. Soon the three came upon fertile lands, where flowers grew, and where the grasses were green and plenty, where Anis could rest and graze. Now after more journeying, the three came upon a place where there were thickets of bushes and ferns, nestled against a flowing river, and tall palm trees making a great shade. Along the edge of the river there was a tired old man who was building a boat. The old man smiled warmly and greeted the travelers in the Birai tongue. "Good day to you three. What brings you to the secret place?" Abuan and Aswad stood confused, for they knew not the language, but Lakut understood, and replied, "Good day, friend. We come here seeking the Lake of Eternal Life. Do you know where this place is?" The old man lit up joyfully. "My friend, I have been building this boat for many months now, seeking to find this place myself, for this river flows down into the lake." Lakut relayed the information, and the three were joyed, but lamented at the struggle and the work of the old man's hands. And so Lakut turned back to him with a proposition. "Friend, let us help you building your boat," Lakut said to him. "For when we finish, let us all go on to the boat and find the lake together, that we may all receive the gift of the waters." The old man agreed to allow them to help, and the four together spent 3 days finishing the building of the boat. When the boat had finished being built, the four and the steed boarded it together, and began to sail gently down the river. Along the way, the river quickly became rough, full of rocks and rapids, but the sturdy construction of the boat protected them, and saw them through safely. Soon, the boat made it onto the lake, a vast stretch of water, and docked along the shoreline. When the company landed ashore, the old man revealed a secret he had been keeping from them, transforming before them and now taking the appearance of a young man, with pure white linens and hair the color of the sea. He spoke to Abuan and his company in their own language, and, in a thundering voice, "I am the oasis, and I am the keeper of this sacred place. I'll do that one again. "I am the oasis, and I am the keeper of this sacred place." The three travelers fell on their faces in reverence, for they perceived Traidzi to be as one of the gods. "I guard this place from those who would only seek to gain for themselves," Traidzi said. "But you stopped to help an old man, to build a strong boat, to protect from all in the river on the way to eternal life." As the three got up and stepped out of the boat together with their steed, they came onto the shoreline, and Traidzi touched each one of their foreheads, blessing them. "This gift of eternal life I have given you all," Traidzi said, "that you may go and serve your brothers as you have served me." After these things took place, Traidzi delivered them back home with great wealth of the land, of precious gems and metals. The three sold much and served and prospered thereafter for a long time to come. Wow, what a great story. Oh, that was so much fun. Galactic Sand, kudos. That is a really well-written story and a lot of fun. It was a delight to read. Oh, okay. So we have some new elements in here. We have this. We have a few new place names, a few character names, which all come from the Quack lexicon, and we also have this. So we have a few new place names. Let's go back up here and make sure we get a note of them. So Mo, literally the west, I believe, and Nranmu, good hills, I want to say. I gotta catch up on my Quack memorize course, and by my I mean the one that Michael produced. And we have an interesting sort of motif of this personified oasis, Traidzi. And so we haven't really put any in-world, nothing in this world is officially supernatural. We haven't taken any opinion on whether any supernatural elements exist. Of course, people believe in supernatural elements. And I think I'd like to stick in this sort of vague, we don't say yes, we don't say no zone for supernatural phenomena in the world. So I think the way that we can canonize this is to have this be a story told within the world. So this is, if not scripture, it's at least maybe a legend or something of that nature. Yeah, as Galactic Sand mentioned earlier. So exciting. So we have some merchants, we have a journey, we have some details of the sort of natural resources of different areas, and I look forward to incorporating this. I also just want to say to Galactic Sand, that was a joy to read. The prose style felt very much like a 19th century translation of folklore or a legend or something like that. Really, really good. Yes, Sulian. It feels a lot like something out of the fables or one of Grimm's fairy tales. Very cool. Okay, well, so now that we have paid homage to that lovely bit of world building and storytelling, let us go back and start our segments for YouTube. We will have a proper YouTube video of the story where I read it and I'll do the voices. And I will also, depending if we can get a translation of the Quack in the story, the Pkwak and the Birai, which I think is well within our ability, I can put them in the story and then in the video subtitle them into English. I think that would be the most fun, so we can hear the actual dialogue in world. Okay. Cooliulio. Right. All right, chat. Really well done, Galactic Sand. And of course, all the other entrants. I read all of those stories and enjoyed them all. So thank you so much for taking part. And we'll have to do this again next year sometime. Great. Okay. So let's hydrate. I'm going to do a proper hydration, so I'm going to mute 1 second. That bottle's really hard to drink from. All right, so our main event today is we have a world building questionnaire that was lovingly prepared for us by the community. Michael has taken the lead on this, and many thanks go to you for that. So I'm going to do a little quick YouTube intro and then we'll jump right in. Unless I sneeze. Always a risk. Okay, no. I don't think I'm going to sneeze. I'm on the border. YouTube, welcome. We are about to do some world building. We have to figure out a lot about Quack society. And there are a lot of questions to answer. What is their method of subsistence? What are their families like? What are their politics like? What kind of economic system do they operate within? So this is the stuff that we're going to delve into right now together with the lovely chat who are here in person. And if you're coming to this video sometime in the future and you think, what is Quack? What is all of this nonsense? Well, check out some of the earlier videos in this series to get an idea of what this world that we're creating together is. And you can always come join us on the Discord, for which there is a link in the description. All right, so let's skedaddle off to the side and take a look at what we have here. So this is the realm. This is the part of the world in which the speakers of the language Quack live. And we have a few place names sorted out. We have Kluim-Sweet, the far ocean, Kluihan, our ocean, exclusive, and Tpud-Pyakang, the place of the divide. So this area here is the I was just about to say Pkwak-Bund. I'm coining a term, the Pkwak-Sprachbund, the Pkwak-Bund. Yeah. So this is where the speakers of Pkwak live. And in terms of climate, we have a Mediterranean climate. Let me see if I can scoot together the geography. Here we go. So on the west coast, we have a Mediterranean climate, and on the east coast we have a humid subtropical climate, and that includes this little island here. So this is the area, this is the part of the world that we're dealing with, and the overall story of the Quack language is that it is a Sakrat language, whose homeland is around here, down in the south, and through a variety of migrations and sea travel and conquest and who knows, this language family has found itself very, very widely spoken over the world, and most notably for us today in this region here. So that's where we are, and so you can sort of see this tip of this continent here, and that is where we find ourselves here. So this is zoomed in. We have a few city names worked out. We have Swarak, Kestap, Nkidras, Drasmu, and a few other geographical features. I also wanted to point out that for those who are Biraiverse aficionados, we have Swarak, this place name here. The Tswor in Swarak is actually cognate with Nzlor in Kra Nzlor, which is a different group of Sakrat language speakers. But that's kind of fun. It is a root that means harbor or safety. Good. Okay. So, sets the stage. Let's go on. And again, thank you so much to Michael, who is, I believe, with us here in the chat. Yes. Mniskam. And thank you for putting this together. And thanks to everyone in the community who contributed ideas. Quain. There we go. All right, so first thing to talk about. And by the way, this is going to be a very audience participation heavy stream because I am not by any means an expert about any of this stuff. So I'm excited to be able to learn from all of you and to sort of, I think my role here is going to be managing the suggestions and ideas that come in from the chat. So I think Quack, the language, has become what it is today because of the community. It has very little to do with me. So I'd like to keep that that trend rolling. All right, so we currently do not know a lot about the family structure of the Pkwak. But I think it's worth, before we go into this, thinking about the history of Pkwak speakers. So we have contemporary Pkwak, which is the many birds land. This area here comes from a union or a mix of two different cultural groups. I'm trying to figure out the exact way to say this because it's a bit difficult. But we have speakers of a Sakrat language who come from the ocean, and their language displaces the languages spoken in this region beforehand. We know of one of these languages that was spoken in the area beforehand, which is called Umeti. I don't know if I'm stressing that right. Let me know. Umeti or Umeti. I don't know if we had a ruling on that. So there is a lot of material that's been created in this language, but that language forms a substrate, that language and others like it, or maybe not even like it, for a substrate, Umeti. Okay. Umeti is one of the languages that was widely spoken here before Pkwak, and it forms a substrate. And there may have been others as well. So, what seems to have happened is that speakers of a Sakrat language, which would later become Pkwak, came to this area and became culturally or economically or politically dominant, maybe all of the above. And gradually, the Pkwak language became spoken in the entire region, and the Umeti language and other pre-Pkwak languages were no longer spoken, or are no longer spoken in this region. There may be relatives that are elsewhere. So, when we think of what that means culturally, we have two very different cultural groups that have come into contact, or presumably they're very different, because they come from very different parts of the world. And so we have a lot of room to play with influences from this Pkwak, the Sakrat-speaking culture, and influences from the indigenous Umeti and other pre-Pkwak language-speaking cultures. Ha! Okay, I think I explained that decently. So, let's keep that contact phenomenon in mind as we go. Okay. Right. So, I'm going to read out what we have here, and then we can start to innovate. So, here we have, it is unclear what the family looks like for the contemporary Pkwak, based on what we currently know. There's not much known about the family structure of the earlier Pkwak either, before they migrated to the Pkwak-tap, which is our name for the region. So, it would be useful, I think, to have a name for the migrants who came with the language that would later be called Pkwak. So let's think of that. Maybe we could call them something like the Sea Peoples, as a bit of a nod to our ancient Mediterranean friends. So let's see what we can do for that. So let's find people. Okay, band, a group of people. Dwanok. Ooh, yeah, I like that. Dwanok. And then C. This is my super excellent and wonderful way of searching through here. Kes. Dwanok Kes. No, wait, Kes is... What is Kes fish? I forget. Yeah, Kes is fish. Klui is sea. Thank you, ship. Ooh, okay. So, Michael, Sutmot is the word for civilized person, and means boat person. I don't think we have to look too much farther than that. So the Syutmot, let's call them that. So where are we? There we are. Yeah, I get there eventually. It sometimes takes me a little bit. So the Syutmot, we can call. This doesn't have to be an endonym, but this can be our name for the boat people, the people who came and brought the ancestors of Pkwak. And it's going to be Colin struggles with technology once again. The people who brought the Sakrat B language, which would later become Quack. And we can do a control for replace. Ooh, that's such good thinking. All right. Now let's go back up. All right, we got a lot to do, so I don't think we can spend too long dilly-dallying. Heavens to Betsy, we have 15 pages here. Okay, so that's a definition. I finally use Control F. I do know it exists, believe it or not. Okay. So, we don't know much about the family structure of the Syutmot either. But we do know something about the Umeti. The Umeti are known to practice a Hawaiian-like kinship system. All female family members of your generation are Loti, and all males are Nihu. All females of a generation above are Maya. I'm assuming this is IPA. And all males are Toa. All females of a generation below are Kaishori, and all males are Tsaria. All right. So we have a Hawaiian-like kinship system. Umeti societies are based on clans which you're born into, but you may be adopted into another clan, and this is often done during a marriage. Interesting. One thing so I've been doing a bit of reading in preparation for this, and one of the books that I've been reading is Joe Henrich's The Weirdest People in the World, which is about the development of kind of the oddities of what does weird stand for? Western, educated, industrialized, rich democracies, which a lot of people have used. You know, these are the people that psychology experiments are generally done on, usually undergrads at a big university, taking a psychology class, and they get some credit for it. So the author points out that this is not necessarily representative of global psychology, and it's actually quite abnormal, the psychologies of the people that we do most of the experiments on. And so this book is a very interesting book in which he traces the development of why these weird cultures, weird as an acronym and as a descriptor, are the way they are. And one of the things that he traces is the breakdown in traditional kinship systems that happened in Europe during the Middle Ages, specifically the part of Europe under the sway of the Catholic Church. So, what's the point of all of this? The point of all of this is that societies with strong kin-based institutions tend to function in a way that's very different from the societies that gave birth to modern Europe. So if we're thinking about the European Middle Ages, we're already thinking of a society that has moved away from these traditional kin-based institutions. So anyway, that's interesting and something that we can keep in mind. So it's likely that many of the other pre-Pkwak societies have used a similar kinship system. In rural areas, each clan is its own separate village, but towns and cities were typically run by the cooperation of several clans, with the elders of the clans forming a sort of council. And this is something else that was mentioned in that book, which, I don't know. If you're interested, this is a really cool book. So the one problem with many forms of social organization is that once you hit a certain size of community, groups tend to splinter because it's hard to manage those conflicts that arise. So what happens is that kinship, which is something that something that's relatively innate and shared among all human experience. We all have parents and close relatives, and there's some biological basis for how we interact with them in some ways. This template for relating to people is sort of scaled up to allow you to relate to other people who aren't your direct immediate family in this way. And one of these strategies is clans. So if you have a clan, you can treat people who are not directly related to you as related to you. And this enables you to coordinate labor across people outside of immediate family, which is good because, sometimes you need to do common projects. People invade you and you need to defend yourselves. So it becomes good to have a clan-wide approach. And so there's clan leadership and there's a coordination of labor that can happen in a clan. But what the problem is that going up beyond the clan level becomes harder because you can't once you've got your institution of the clan, how do you relate to other clans? There's competition potentially. So coming together among clans in villages requires mechanisms to mediate conflicts that arise. And one of those kinds of institutions could be particular religious ones, where different clans have relationships with each other that are sort of passed down in tradition. Like this clan does this and this clan does that. And then you have a framework in which these clans can interact with each other. This is my sort of gist from having read this book. And I haven't even finished it, but lots of stuff in it. So the elders of the clans forming a sort of council. So this is the kind of institution that would be required to weld different clans together to be able to operate on a higher level. And this, of course, as Quain points out, this is the origin for the game Clash of Clans. Okay. So one way in which you can have labor and relations normalized in between clans is to have distinctions that cross-cut across clans. So these are things like cult membership. So maybe everyone is divided into one of 4 cults, but I'm in clan A, but I practice, or I'm a member of cult 1. You're in plan B, but you practice cult 1. We have something in common, a way to relate to each other that is outside of the clan. And so these kind of cross-cutting affiliations allow the society to be kind of knitted together. So there are different strategies that can be used. But it looks like we have a note about this very thing in the document, which is that this system of loyalty to the clan exclusively left the indigenous Pkwak divided, which is a large factor in how the Pkwak were able to conquer the region. Okay, so maybe this, we have very few larger units in the Pkwak that are above the clan level. So we have villages, but a collection of villages without a common, regional means of coordination. I'm avoiding saying government. I'm trying to be as sort of agnostic as possible as to what that means of coordination might be, could have dire consequences when a group comes that has coordinated on very large scales. So there's a lot to be said about the Umeti and the other pre-Pkwak societies, but one thing we can say is that they had this extensive kin-based institution system. And then we have to contrast this with the Pkwak. So if the system of exclusive clan loyalty left the indigenous Pkwak top vulnerable to conquest by the Pkwak speakers, the Syutmot, the Syutmot must have had something different that enabled them to, like a sort of social, I don't know, I almost want to say like a social technology. I don't know if I'm thinking in terms of like civilization, the game and the tech tree and all that. But they had something that enabled them to coordinate across larger groups that the Umeti speakers did not. Okay, so one thing that we know that the Syutmot have is religion of some sort. They have this goddess Mnis, and religion is one of these things that can help you to scale up your society beyond this clan group. And so you get a religious victory. Yeah. So you can imagine an institution like a universalistic religion is one that allows you to see people who aren't directly related to you, who aren't in your clan, as nonetheless a kind of relative. You know, you're all brothers under Mnis, in a sense. So, yeah. Maybe that's the solution. Maybe we have some kind of a theocratic society in the Syutmot, and then that maybe warlike theocratic society then gets mellowed out as it encounters the pre-Pkwak peoples who have a very different way of viewing the world, and we get the modern Pkwak, the contemporary Pkwak notion of Mnis as a kind of ground of being, or a sort of animistic force that pervades everything. Something like that is what I'm thinking. So, chat. I know I said this is going to be viewer participation, then I rambled for like 20 minutes. What do we think? I'm going to scroll up and see. Okay, so scrolling up a bit here. Maj is saying, I like the idea of culture coming around purely to differentiate separate clans. Like dances, art, and practices that only exist to be a separator and personifier of one's clan identity. Yeah, so I like this idea of clan traditions that might be very different. Maybe this is part of the sort of fractious nature of the pre-Pkwak people, is that they each have their own cultural traditions, and there isn't a kind of common language. Not a common language, but a common kind of like cultural operating system. All right. Okay. So, I think I'm going to sneeze now. That was a legit sneeze. Okay. All right. So we've been talking about religion. Let's zoom down and see what we have about the Umeti religion. So go down, political organization, religion. Okay. Right. So here's what we've been talking about. The contemporary Pkwak still worship the goddess Mnis, but have depersonalized her. She's more akin to a life force nurturing the universe, hidden but ever present, like the deep layers of mycelium. Is that the pronunciation? I've never actually said that before. Beneath the forest floor. Then she is to a goddess one has a personal rapport with. This differs between religions and individual worshippers. In contact with other Sakrat peoples means concept like me can occasionally make their way into the Pkwak top. Yeah, interesting when we get contact between Quack and the me people. Because I think the me are going to be very much more intense about their goddess than the Pkwak are. But maybe the Syutmot are more like the me in that way. I think, who was it in the Discord who said something about maybe the me having like a god king or a goddess queen, like an ultra hierarchical society, theocratic society. Okay, so this reduction of Mniss to an abstract force of nature does not mean the Pkwak don't have personable divinities. They tend to worship Genius Loki, nature spirits of the places they're at, and there's nothing stopping alternative practices like ancestor worship from coexisting within Mniss worship. So I think this is exactly what's going to happen. We have a lot of local traditions, a lot of diversity, but then this sort of Mniss presence undergirding everything. Okay. So then the Syutmot had a protoform of this kind of Mniss worship, but it's unclear how much the abstraction of Mniss is a recent innovation in older tradition or something spurred on through religious syncretism with the pre-Pkwak peoples. Okay, so I think this is something that we can make a decision on. So let's say that it is something spurred on through religious syncretism. It is not something largely that the Syutmot the Syutmot brought themselves. Vida, thank you so much. Yes, Vida, who I don't believe is could make it to stream today. So attribution and credit where credit is due. Great. Okay, so let's say that then. Let's say the Syutmot. I'm going to put in a new paragraph here. The Syutmot, this would be my rewriting of this, had a much more personalistic view of Mniss, which they inherited from the common Sakrat religion. I don't know exactly what we want to say about this yet, but something like a common Sakrat religion. The abstraction of Mniss is a relatively recent innovation spurred on through religious syncretism with the pre-Pkwak peoples. And then we have this really great note in here. So I'm going to replace. We've made a choice. We've actually made a decision. Imagine that. So the Umeti practice, or perhaps practiced, a form of monotheism centered around the god Makote, who infuses the land with his life and essence, but must in turn be gifted life to get through the winter. The harvest festival celebrating Makote, Makotengo Eho Kaluka, has become part of Pkwak culture as well as Makotengo Eho Kaluka. The excess of the harvest gets offered to Makote to get him through the winter. Turnips are carved into, or to give them faces representing Makote. These offerings provide a healthy layer of insulating compost and accessible food for the plants and animals of the area, helping to maintain the balance of life through the winter. Looks like YouTube's being YouTube. Or maybe it's not just YouTube. Maybe there's something along the way. I'm going to wait and I'm not going to do anything interesting. Hey, Galactic Sin, in the immortal words of Shaggy, it wasn't me. All right, we're back. Good. Now, let's continue. So we've made our decision here. I love this. This is so rich. This detail about the the Makote cult. And it's so relevant to this time of year. So happy Makotengo Ehokaloka, everyone. Nranmao, it's good now. Nran. Good. Okay. So, I would be curious as to what the relationship is between Makote and Mnis. This is something that for the contemporary Quack. So, question. What's the relationship between Makote and Mnis? Are they identified? Are they made? Is one made consort of the other? Ideas? This question is already in the document. Okay. So let's zoom down to that. Okay, 7C. So let's answer here. I think Umeti doesn't have explicit gender, so Makote is a god. Thank you, Ship. And thank you, Ship, for all of this amazing work on the Umeti. Consorts. All right. So let's say then Makote is seen as a consort to Mnis. In contemporary Quack religion, is seen as consort to Mnis. However, Makote is a lot more personal than Mnis. Than the almost impersonal Mnis. Then the impersonal Mnis. So I think Makote is still someone that the Pkwak can talk to and make offerings to, whereas Mnis has become this ground of being. Okay. All right. So let's keep going. I'm seeing lots of good stuff in the chat here. So options. So we have this idea of the consort, and they're both gradually fading into impersonality, although Mnis is a lot farther along that road than Makote because of these traditions of the turnips, etc. Or Makote is an embodiment of the impersonal Mnis, kind of like an avatar situation. Or Makote is infused with the essence of Mnis during this seasonal ritual. Or there is a dualism, and some people are into Makote and some people are into did I read that wrong from Jack? the Pkwak people offer and serve makote, and makote offers and serves nis. So there's a hierarchy. Okay, so those are our options. I'm going to put in a cut here so we can take a few moments and ponder them, and wish the YouTube people a pleasant day. And I hope that that you YouTube have enjoyed a little peek into the world building process here. It has been a great deal of fun. We will come back and we will do more in in the next episode. So we will see you then, YouTube. And chat, I'm just going to take a minute here to rest the vocal cords, hydrate, and ponder what we want the answer for this to be. Because I'm not altogether sure we have a consensus in the chat. So I will birai and ponder. Hello. I don't know why it's so blurry, but we will get there. Optime. Oh, that's magic. Okay, welcome back, everyone. We are back. We are in focus. We are primed. So, I see that we've had some excellent suggestions while I was out rehydrating. Let's see. Right. Yeah, YouTube polls. Lucy, how do we do that? It would be cool if we could get some like real-time polls and you know, and Michael had a great idea on the Discord, which was to do some like, you know, have a running tally of how many words we've created while we're sort of doing those streams where we go through and create a bunch of words. It'd be cool if we had like, oh, the dictionary now has this many words. Yeah, it'd be something. I don't know. I'm, as you know, friends in the chat, as you know, I am not the best at manipulating all of this software stuff. I don't know why. I used to be good at this, but I think that there's just something about all of it that while I'm streaming, at least, it doesn't seem to work for me. So I would probably need Lucy's help for that kind of thing. Goodness gracious. YouTube poll, Twitch poll, I don't know what's possible. Since we stream simultaneously to both, it would be cool if we could do something that is good for everyone. Discord poll, that could work. Yeah, a Discord poll could work. Yeah, so let's ponder this. I don't think that we can put anything together today, but for the coming weeks, we can definitely work out a way to get people's input in more efficiently than just me reading the chat. Great. Okay. So did we come to any decisions about, did we come to any consensus? I'm scrolling up here. Emily Autumn, if there's some Umeti surviving, then they might have a different view. So the way I kind of see this is that the current Quack are culturally about 50 or maybe 60-40 Sakrat speaking. Their culture, they take about 60% of their cultural heritage from Sakrat traditions, from the Syutmot, and they take about 40% from their indigenous traditions. Genetically, they are the majority, and perhaps the vast majority of their genes comes from the Pkwak peoples, and a very small contribution from the Syutmot. So that's how I see it. I see it as a small group of people who came, dominated in some way, and then were absorbed into the population while changing their culture quite dramatically, and being changed in turn as well. Okay, so we have so we have still some questions about the Makote and Manis. I think rather than dwell on it too much, we will I'll put in the options in the document, and then we can you know, let 100 flowers bloom. All right, so I'm going to go back in. I'm going to start a new segment, and we'll put all this stuff on paper, pixels, whatever. All right. YouTube, welcome back. We are doing some world building. We are sorting out what's going on with the religion, politics, economy, everything to do with the Quack people. So without further ado, let's jump back into the Google Doc. And there are a lot of questions here, so we got a lot to work through. We talked in the break about what is going on with the god Makote, and the relationship of Makote and Mnis. Makote comes from the pre-Pkwak people. Mnis comes from the Motsiut, the bringers of the Pkwak language to the Pkwak tap. I realize that if anyone doesn't know what this is, these are going to sound like absolute nonsense words. Just stay with us; it'll all become clear with time. Yeah, so I think the best way is to say there's diversity of views. Of views on the relationship of Makote and Mnis. So in 1, Makote is seen as a consort to Mnis, and 2, Makote is seen as an embodiment of Mnis. 3, what else do we have in the something about a transformation at a festival. I don't know exactly what to write for that one, so I'm just going to write transformation at festival. Okay. And let's move on. So, the foreign idea of mien. This, let's leave this for now, because this, we need to work out what's going on with the mien people. Okay. Let's look at this. So the word re is used religiously in some dialects. Does sun worship fit in with or go against Mnis worship? If there are different religions, is there any syncretism present? Okay, so I have an idea about this. I have an idea at this. Oh, okay, just I got the answer to the question. Only at the festival does Makote become infused with Mnis. I don't know why it looks like that. Isn't it supposed to give me a thing that says, you know, retain style or what have you? Okay, later. So I have an idea for this sun worship. Before I do, echoed words. I'm writing it with a K because in Umeti it's written with a Q. In Pkwak it's written with a K. Because Pkwak doesn't have a K, uvular stop. Okay, so the sun worship. Here's what I'm thinking. In Proto-Sakrat religion, we have a sun god, Re, Egyptian nod, absolutely intended, but, or we at least have some sort of sun worship, but over time in many of the later Sakrat societies, the worship of the sun recedes and is replaced with worship of Mnis, or Mnis, or Mien, depending on the language. So things that are very old, will mention Re in a religious context, but newer things would not. That's the way I'm thinking. So sun worship, and I believe if we go way back to the origins of Sakrat, we had some talk about maybe the sun being a bit of an ambivalent figure. So maybe that's the path by which sun worship becomes Mnis. The Mnis cult takes precedence. So originally sun worship there was sun worship present in the Proto-Sakrat religion. However, this receded in prominence over time. And to be supplanted by the Mnis cult, which became the predominant the predominant form of religious life in Sakrat-speaking societies. Maybe some of those Sakrat that we haven't talked at all about, like Sakrat A, that branch, maybe they're different. But at least for Mie and for the Quack people, they get this Manis cult. Cult just means, in this context, it just means worship of or some sort of activity devoted to. Anthropologists help me out here. I don't know. I'm kind of parroting what I read. Okay. So then maybe Manis is actually a moon goddess. And of Manis, which was a previously unimportant moon goddess, right? Because if we're talking about the sun, like, we got to talk about the moon as well. And then Makote, maybe Makote comes to take on many solar features. Given the cycle, right? In the wintertime, the sun goes away a lot and it has to be replenished, something like this. Oh, we got the spam. Look how important we are now. We get spam. Oh. Okay. Superb. So we can think of Makote as filling this slot in the pantheon for some sort of sun worship. All right, so cool. Okay. We also have a culture hero, Duan Tarun, in Proto-Sakrat religion. And the question of the role of Duan Tarun in Quack religion is completely open. I haven't thought about it at all. So, chat, what do we think? Duan Tarun. Does Duan Tarun have a role in Quack religion, or is it just an ancient myth? Hi Max, welcome. Yeah, we did a reading at the start. I see. Galactic Sands Story 1, and we did a little semi-dramatic reading, but really, it would have been very hard for me to vote. I did not myself vote, because all of the entries were so good. And I kind of have a little bit in mind that we can take some elements from the other ones and weave them in. I don't know. Okay, so we have lots of ideas here. Folk hero. So Duan Tarun, let's say Duan Tarun is a folk hero. But not a figure in religious life. The name Duan Tarun is still used by parents who like the idea of naming their kid the equivalent of Ulysses or something like that. Okay. Ooh, ship, that's a cool idea. The idea that Duan Thrun's demigod blood got handed down to the conqueror of the Pkwak. Yeah, so something like Ulysses or Hercules. Perhaps Duan Thrun is a legendary ancestor of the Syutmot kings. Hello, this is my child Beowulf. Hey. I would not be shocked. I would not be shocked. Okay, so let's look, because we said kings here. I want to just jump a little bit around. We're not going to, we're obviously not going to get to everything today, sadly, but this is a good start for the religion. Let's find something about politics. Here we go. Okay, so let's read about politics. What do we have so far? The contemporary Quack are politically divided among many smaller polities, none of which have been able to completely dominate the Pkwak for long. Tsorak is one of the most prominent cities in the region due to its convenient central location, but has not been able to translate these advantages into unquestionable dominance over the other city-states or petty kingdoms. Each polity has two political spheres, the urban center of power, where the nobility is located, and power is administered over its surroundings, and the rural areas where most commoners live and provide food and resources for the urban centers. Okay, so the situation in rural areas is diverse and differs somewhat between polities, but the basic pyramid structure of commoners upholding the nobility remains a constant. Yeah, that makes sense. One demographic that is not entirely co-opted by the structure are the merchants, who speak dialect G. That's interesting. I had not heard about that before. Yeah, Google's on. I don't know how do we. Let's. There we go. Change locale to British English. Where were we? Oh yeah, dialect G. I am curious about this. I haven't heard about this before. The nobility legitimizes their power by declamping. What? By claiming descent from Skamnis, a legendary general along the lines of Alexander the Great, who had originally conquered the Pkwak. Okay, let's canonize this. I like this idea. Skamnis is the descendant of Duan Thrun, or so claimed, and Skamnis is the one who originally conquered the Pkwak. Love that. Skamnis claimed descent from the culture hero Duan Thrun. Or maybe we could say the descendants of Skamnis claim descent. The house of Skamnis claim descent from the culture hero Duan Thrun. Great. All right. So we don't know much about the political organization of the Syutmot. They're seafaring people, definitely not opposed to conquest, but their internal divisions are as of yet still unclear. I think basically the Syutmot should be somewhat analogous to the Macedonians in the going into the Hellenistic period. So I think the Alexander the Great comparison is an apt one. So we have a relatively minor kingdom that, due to circumstance, the ability of a particular general, in this case Skamnis, is able to essentially dominate a large area, whether by being skilled, lucky, or both. And that is the reason why we have this situation that we have inherited. So where would Skamnis be from? Where would Skamnis be from? Let's go and let's look at our geography. So by the way, this is the Biraiverse wiki, which is at world.colingorrie.com if you're curious to see this. We have a lot of information, not nearly as much as we should, but we have some basic history, things that have been canonized so far, a lot of work from the community. And this page in particular is about the Sakrat speakers and their history. So let's see what we have. The speakers of Proto-Sakrat B expanded along the savanna on the west coast of continent D. Okay, so continent D is this continent. So Sakrat B speakers came up through the west coast of this continent here. And one group migrated over the sea onto the southeastern peninsula of continent A, Proto-Sakrat B2. So these are the ancestors of the Quack. So let's look at continent A. This is our continent A. This is where Quack is going to be spoken. So I think that that Skamnis' homeland is going to be somewhere on this shore. Not exactly sure where precisely, but perhaps somewhere down here, and then the conquest takes place up here. So that's the idea there, I think. Oh, Michael, that's a really cool idea. What if Skamnis himself was not... we're not actually an original Sakrat speaker, but someone adopted. Yeah, that kind of semi-marginal outsider who becomes the quintessential example of some kind of group is a great origin story. Okay, so let's say that Skamnis is from this region, and the Syutmot are very slowly expanding up in terms of colonies like the ancient Greeks had along the coast. And then Skamnis is such an amazing genius, and the stars align in such a way that he's able to gain power and conquer the Pkwak-speaking. That comes to pass, and that's the origin of Quack here. Okay, so let's write that down. So Skamnis was not ethnically Syutmot himself, but was adopted into the house of a local Syutmot warlord. So the Syutmot, let's try and place them in time. because now we have a name for them, which is really helpful. Right, so in and around, from somewhere between 1,000 to 500 before the present, is when Niskam lives. Niskam. And the Syutmot are basically, they exist along this coast. So this is where the Syutmot live, maybe in small colonies along the coast. And this is in tropical savanna, so maybe wherever there's a good bay, these are seafaring people. They have small independent city-states, and then Skamnis comes over and unites them all, conquers into this region. But then the question is, B2 is Syutmot. Sakrat B2 is Syutmot. The question is, what is the relationship between the Quack and the descendants of the Syutmot that are not in Pkwak proper? That's one question that I am curious about. Because it would be interesting if these speakers, I don't know exactly what would be most interesting to do. Whether they get displaced by someone else, such that the descendants of the Syutmot are only found in the Pkwak, or do they still exist and retain some sort of a relationship with their old colony, which has changed a lot. I'm thinking like Carthage and the Carthaginians with respect to the Phoenicians. Maybe there's that kind of an arrangement. Or like the Mongols in China, maybe the Syutmot from the homeland start to think that, maybe the Syutmot that have gone to the Pkwak have become too different. They are no longer as seafaring as they once were. They've turned into farmers and that sort of thing. I don't know. Yeah, let's find out what the chat thinks. Ooh, Galactic Sand. Skamni sounds like an analog. What is with my brain today? An analog to Cyrus the Great of Persia. That is a really interesting point, and I agree completely. So then the question is, by the present, are there Syutmot that are not Pkwak? Meaning, is there a descendant of the Syutmot language that is not Pkwak, that has no influence from Umeti and other pre-Pkwak languages? It is a pure Sakrat, more or less pure Sakrat language. Jack saying, I agree more with the last option Colin gave. Which was the last one I gave? Is that the one where the descendants of the Syutmot still remain on this eastern coast but are kind of different? Okay, a pure B2 language, or at least, maybe not pure, but influenced more by the things in its immediate environment, which we don't really know the nature of. What the East Coast languages are. Presumably, perhaps they're related to these pre-Pkwak languages in some way, but their mode of subsistence might be quite different due to their different location. Yeah, I think maybe we will have contemporary Syutmot, but we'll have to evolve their language to be different, because we won't have all of the suffixes that came from the substrate influence of Quack, we will have something different that's happened there. Okay, so I'm going to put in, I think, a little cut there. I think we've done a good amount, and then we'll have 3 segments for this. So YouTube, thank you again for joining us. This has been a great deal of fun working on politics and pondering these weighty matters. We've talked about the Syutmot, we've talked about Skamnis, we've talked about what happens with these original people who came to the Pkwak and gave birth to the Pkwak language. What happened in their old homeland? Does that still stay the same? And I think we're saying that maybe there are descendants of those people in these areas. But anyway, there's a lot going on is all I'm saying. So come back and see how we develop all of this. Until then, Manis Kam. And bye until next time. Whew, okay. Yeah, so the Savannah Syutmot. Yeah, I have trouble code switching sometimes. The phonology just sticks, or I anticipate it. So who are these people? Who are going to be living in the savannah before the Syutmot colonize it? Let's just go over here. And so just out of segment, we can kind of look. So we know that the Birai live in this desert. We know the Umeti and other pre-Pkwak people live in this region. So who lives here? We have the Umetic family. We have the Biraic family. We know Tbak is spoken down in this southwestern coast. But we don't really know much about what's going on here. Is it a Biraic language? Is it an Umetic language? Is it some other language family? A new family? We could do it. We could do a new family. Yeah, we could definitely do a new family there. One thing that I am sort of pondering, the people who live in the Pkwak, the pre-Pkwak, they seem not to have developed extensive state-like institutions ever, which to me seems maybe a little odd given how good their climate is. I kind of think that they wouldn't be stuck at, I know I'm kind of, forgive me, I'm being bad, but I'm thinking about the civ tech tree again, which is not how, actually history works. But I'm just trying to think of, I don't think that groups living in such rich climates would not develop states. Yeah. Yes, as Michael points out, technology is not a linear progression, but the civ tech tree is. So if we have this issue where we really only do have kin-based institutions and no larger scale, it seems to me like there would be something larger scale. So maybe we have, so maybe we have city-states that arise, as was being suggested in the chat, and outside of those city-states, it is totally kin-based, clans. So clans in the countryside, a few city-states. And so we have a really strong division between the areas that are, to use the etymological sense of the term, civilized, in the sense that they are ruled by kiwes, they are cities, and the parts that are not. Yeah, they don't have a unifying confederation. And maybe the clans could be arranged in systems of alliances. Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely an option. Although the way I'd seen it written, I thought the idea was that they are too fractious to do so, but maybe they're not. All right, so let's do another segment. Let's get YouTube back, and let's not make decisions without them. All right, YouTube, we are back. We are ready to develop the Syutmot, the Pkwak, all of our good friends in our little world building project. So if you don't know what these are, watch the earlier videos in this series because it's not going to make any sense without it. Great. Okay, so we are looking at, let's go back to our world building. So we are looking at let's just refresh our memory. The Pkwak-speaking, the place of many birds, aspiration off. And we are sort of working out the culture of this area. All right. Okay, so ship, I think I misunderstood then. The fractiousness led to an inherent instability, but it's not as if they were unable to develop higher level institutions of cooperation and coordination, such as states. Okay, so good. Let's write that down. Where's our politics? Look, Control F, everyone. I do know about it. Okay, politics. A diverse patchwork of clan alliances and rivalries, which the warlords Kamnis exploited in his conquest of the region, absorbing some clans into the Quack culture and leaving the others weakened. Okay, yeah, I like this. This is good. This is good. So we have a lot of sort of feuding and warring city-states, alliances, which Kamnis comes in, swoops in, takes advantage of the strife and unites them all briefly under himself, but then after he dies, it all falls apart. This kind of thing. North America also had great climates but no states. Well, I mean, Central Mexico. Doesn't that count? All right, so now, but what happens after Kamnis' death? So we have this great conqueror who swoops in, unites everything under himself, both the Syutmot on the eastern side of this continent and the Pkwak. But then after he dies, everything just disintegrates again, and we go back to Pkwak-flavored warring city-states. All right, so that is, I think, the the current USA, right? Yeah, that's a good point too. All right, so I think that's the shape of history in this region. So we have lots of feuding states, mainly city-states. Let's take a look at the map again and see who are going to be our Athens and Sparta. Well, we have 4 main cities that we've marked out so far: Kestap, Sworak, Gidras, and Drasmu. I think those are good candidates. I think we need a city on this big island here. It seems reasonable that maybe on the east coast, I think Sworak is going to project its power out into Tpudpyakang, this strait. But, if we look at the world map, this island is the last stop before you go on this. Where are our currents? All right, so the current actually goes this way, across here. So I think this east coast of this island here should have some sort of big city on it. All right, so I'm going to take some ideas. I'm going to take some ideas in, and I'm just going to go down here. And sorry, I'm not super organized, but I want to take some of this great stuff in the chat. So Michael's got some great suggestions here. The Quack tab will be somewhat unified for a time after Kamnis's death, which I think this makes sense because the culture did successfully get, or at least the language successfully got promulgated. Then we have to have some political means of achieving that. And then Max, would it be possible to invent some political words? Yeah, we can definitely do that over the next 20 minutes. I think that's a good thing that we can do. Ship is saying that Drasmu and Kidras probably have good access to metals. And let's put... and then Ship follows that up by saying maybe they're having wars to fight over supply routes. I love that idea. All right. All right, so we need a city on the lake on the northern island. Let's do that. Weezer, if it were a tad bit more slay, says that at this point would Pkwak be aware of the Eustamia speakers? Yes, I think at this point everyone is basically aware of everyone else, unless they're super remote. At year 0 before the present, everyone is aware of everyone. We've had exchanges, which are mainly not friendly, between these two continents and these two continents already, which we call the Tarunian exchange. The geography sheet. Where is the geography sheet? That is not here. I might need some help with the with that link. Let's see. So I'm just gonna open up Discord. All right. We're back. It's the topography sheet. Okay, if I type in topography, I'll probably... yeah, here we go. Thank you. All right. So we need to name some things. Let's zoom in. The map. So 5, it's city 5, right? Okay, city 5 is presided over by Max. So Max, if you have an idea for the name, even in English, we can translate it. Nyankes hasn't claimed an area yet, so okay, let's do that. We need to... Let's take a look at our map. So Nyankes is in the west, right? Galactic Sand. It's a mercantile city with a big market. One, two. We have one at each river outlet. Maybe we have one. Oh, okay. See you, Max. Where else can we put some cities? So I'm gonna have to look on here. So we have a city at 5. We have a city at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think, maybe on this, maybe on island 11 here, which is called Pkwak-speaking, we could have a city. On the lake under Tswarak, yeah. So we could have a city here. Nyankes. Galactic Sand, where should Nyankes go? Is your story compatible with it going at this on this lake here, or on this lake here? 11. Okay. And where's 11? Oh, on the island. Okay. So on Pkwak-speaking is Nyankes. So let it be written, so let it be done. And where do I write that in here? Okay, so Jack has named Pkwak-speaking the island, and so the city on the island is going to be Nyankes. So where should I put that? I'm just gonna put it here. So 11B. Maddie, see you later. Birai. All right, so 11A, 11B, and we're gonna call it Nyankes. All right, we'll put that in the Koine and people can dialectify that to their heart's content. All right. All right, so Jack, is that okay with you if we have the island be Pkwak-speaking and then the city on the island be Nyankes? Alrighty. So, good. And what else do we need to name? What's 6? I see 6 is not presided over by anyone. So let's see where 6 is. Oh no, 6 is named, isn't it? I could have sworn. Oh no, this little island chain. So yeah, this little island chain. So the point of fish. So presumably the point is one of the edges of this little island there. What are we going to call this island chain? Oh, Galactic said, shall we put it on the island chain? We can do that. We can do that. So it's on 6. Where is everything? I'm lost as usual. So let's just, I'm happy to put it there. 6B Nyankes, which means point fish. Okay, so let's let Jack have the island free and clear. And so fish point, really. So I think then we need to, why can't I see anything? We should put it on a point, like here, maybe. Or here. And you can see then that it's Dutch. Yeah. I could see there being some conflict actually between what's it called? Nkidras and wherever Pianques. Wait, what is it? Oh, it's getting to that point of the stream. Nyankes. Huh. Quack is hard sometimes, guys. All right. So we don't know precisely where it is, but some kind of a Venice situation. Okay. So we need to come up with some political vocabulary. So what did we say that we wanted to make? We need a word for, what is it? Let me go into the Discord and find the thread on the vocabulary that we needed. We needed some political vocabulary. Okay. Yeah, so we need a king word. We need a city. All right. So let's go into the Quack vocabulary. Let's go all the way down to the end. And let's get ourselves a word for city. I don't think we should derive this from Proto-Socrate. I think we should derive this from. We should derive this. There shouldn't be a word in Proto-Socrate. So do we have a word for enclose? This is something that you often get. Enclose, surround, around. Okay, duer. So I'd like it to, I think we could get it to come from duer, to wrap around, to hold. So it's an area that's enclosed. That would be the definition of a city or a town. Colin, King Chief, which actually becomes Queen. Oh, yeah, okay. So let it be written, so let it be done. So the chief is Queen and I'll just put that in the Koine. And then we need something that comes from duer. What's our derivational morphology like? Do we have a kind of passive participle thing? Yeah, we have this mem in Eastern. Oh, that's interesting. This is interesting. Ang is place. The holding place. The place that is. I want held, enclosed. Pa. Thank you, Jack. Okay. So let's go back to duer. We will have to and paduer would be enclosure, town, and maybe it becomes ang. So then we have this whole. So originally it's paduer in B2, enclosure, and then we could say paduerang in Socrate with this ang suffix, and paduerang or duerang. I'm not sure which we want. So That is one option. Yeah, we need to re-alphabetize this document. Romke, Emily, you don't know what's going on, but the secret is I don't know what's going on either. I'm just trying to stay afloat. There's so many good ideas coming in that I'm like a vessel that tries to take the ideas and then put them onto the screen, but often things get a bit confusing. Right now we're just trying to come up with some vocabulary for Pkwak political terms. And so we've come up with a few good ones. So I think Padwerang might be a bit too long. So Dwerang could be enclosure or town. But I think in B2 it would be Padwer. And what else do we need? We'd said what else? Big, little, grow, deity. Right, this is from the Discord. So we have big, little, deity. We need a generic word for deity. Let's take something out of Germanics etymology and derive God from the one who is invoked. So let's see if we have a word for call. A call. Kut. Okay, good. Pakut. One who is invoked. So I'm going to use this passive. Pakut is the thing that is invoked, receives the call, literally, it means. Pakut. There's a word for little in Michael's dialect, oswid. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's great. Oswid. We can make that a word for little. And let's see what else we have. We need one for big as well. I'm going to put pa back because I like it. God equals customer service. All right, so we need a root for big in Proto-Socrate. Let's take big from Proto-Socrate. Let's go and make sure we don't have one first. Yeah, we don't. Big. Okay, what is our... Look at all of these. We have all these Proto-Socrate roots. Let's see... Does anyone see a good one? That looks big to you. Yeah, we need to use that Bubakiki effect. Something with an O. Barus. Barus. Okay, Barus Tunib. I'm liking Jack's suggestion of Barus, and then we can merge it with Quain's suggestion. Yeah, Quain, you got it. Barung. Okay, let's make Barung big. So a new Proto-Socrate root, Barung, and to get it into Pkwak, this will be Brung or Brung. And then where are we going? So Brung. Done. Make it Booba, Emily. Let's put that in another language. Let's put that in at some point. We need to put a little Easter egg in there. All right, I think we got to put it in a cup for YouTube here because I am spent. YouTube, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been a great deal of fun. We got some progress. There's still a lot of work to do, but we will be back next week doing this or something much like it. So come and join us on Twitch or on YouTube live then. And otherwise, if you're more of the stay on YouTube and watch it afterwards, well, we will see you in the next video. Until then, Niskam and Birai. Yeah, that was fun. Thank you everyone so much for stopping by. This has been a great stream. I think I'm going to go ponder these matters further. Congratulations again to Galactic Sand and to all of the entrants in the fanfiction contest. We will definitely be doing this again. This has been so great. I really enjoyed reading all of your entries so very much. Okay, so with that said, we will see you back here next week. Same Sakrat time, same Sakrat channel. Until then, Niskam, Birai, and God bless.